Utah football has had a brand that's very recognizable. It's a physical brand, and it's very family oriented. I don't know that I want to necessarily change that recipe for success. It's maybe just the way the meal's prepared a little bit different.
Welcome back to ARC Salt Lake. That was new Utah head coach Morgan Scalley at Big 12 Football Media Days. Joining us now to discuss all things Utes from Media Days is a former Utah quarterback and current radio analyst for Utes football, Scott Mitchell. Scott, thanks for being here this morning.
Good morning, Lincoln. It's great to be here.
Okay, give me your take on how Scalley did at Media Days. What did he have to say? What is your take on what he said?
I think one of the things I've always really appreciated about Morgan is his passion. I don't think there's a person alive who's more prepared to be the Utah football coach than Morgan Scalley. He was born a Ute, went to school there. His parents went to school there. He had tremendous success as a player, as an assistant coach, and now as a head coach. So I love his energy. I love his passion. Quite frankly, I love his confidence. He says, we want to bring a national championship to the University of Utah, and he spoke it out loud. And I've been very impressed with his confidence, his enthusiasm, his energy.
Okay, people are always afraid of change, right? So as Utah fans, and I'm one of them, I'm a University of Utah graduate myself. I graduated in 2001. Should Utah fans be nervous or excited about the Scalley era?
I think nervously excited is a better explanation of everything. Sure, change is inevitable. I mean, the one constant in life is change, and this is a big change. I mean, this is the program's had tremendous stability at the coaching position for the last 36 years. So you never know what's going to happen. You look at everything with Coach Scalley and his preparation. He's a guy that's very detail oriented. He's a guy that has a plan and he has confidence in his plan. He's executing his plan. So I think you can be optimistic. I think the thing that's scary is not so much Coach Scalley and his preparation, but it's kind of the loss of some significant key players in significantly key places, predominantly on the offense and defensive line. I mean, you lost all 5 starters on your offensive line and good players. 2 guys went in the first round on offense with the 2 tackles, but defensively, the cupboard's been raided a little bit, and so we all know, if you know, football is won in the trenches, and that's the one thing that Utah's been great at with its success over the years is they've been really good up front, and there's certainly players who have shown promise. There's a lot of talent on that offensive line with the new guys coming in. It's just the experience. It might take a minute. And I think that's maybe the blessing with the schedule this year. It's pretty friendly. It's very friendly early on. So a lot of these guys that haven't had a lot of experience are going to get a chance to play. And then the secondary is another kind of issue with this team. But there's always issues every year. You're always replacing players, position groups. They're always different. And so we'll see. That's the exciting part about football. You just don't know what you're going to get until you open the package on the first day of the season and you really know where you are. But Morgan Scalley's ready to be this guy for sure.
Excuse me. Scalley differ from Kyle Whittingham?
That's a great question, actually. I think Morgan, Kyle, both of them are extremely competitive people. I think Morgan might be a little bit, shall we say, user-friendly. He's a little bit more engaging with the media. Kyle is more of the Bill Belichick, blunt answers, don't really want to talk to you kind of thing. And Morgan's, I think, just a little bit more approachable. I think there's a few things that he's, kind of implemented, changing some of the way they train in the off season. Those are some different things, but usually great coaches are themselves. And I think Morgan alluded to that in the media days, and just, I have to be who I am. I'm not going to be Kyle Whittingham. And I think he's embraced that. And that's the sense I get from him, that he goes, I know I've prepared myself to be this coach. I know what I want to do. And I'm going to be true to that. But there are some core things they're certainly very similar in. But Morgan, maybe, I don't want to say nicer, but maybe because Kyle's a great guy, but Kyle's kind of he's kind of linear. It's got one single focus, and just get out of my way. I don't want to talk to you.
Right, definitely. I see that. Scalley, of course, is familiar with the rivalry with BYU, and he says he wants more respect there. He wants this matchup to be respectful and with less hate. What's your take on that?
Yeah, they all say those positive things, but let me tell you something. Kalani Sitake was a great coach at the University of Utah, and the minute he got back to his alma mater at BYU, you could tell he was fired up. And these guys want to win this game in the worst way. Morgan said, look, you're my buddy, Kalani. I love you, but I want to beat you by 50 when we play. And you know what? It's good. This rivalry's great. I mean, really, the world of sports in Utah, the Jazz got the second pick in the draft. It looks like they're going to be good this year. You've got the Mammoth, who made the playoffs, made a run in the playoffs a little bit. And, of course, BYU and Utah, you're talking about both of these schools, not only this rivalry, but these schools are competing for conference championships. They're not dogs in the conference. They're not just there to, gain some respect. You're talking about competing to go to the college football playoffs. And that's the excitement and the great thing about sports in the state of Utah today. All of our programs are on the rise. Buy Utah sports today. That's the thing I say to everyone, because there's a lot to be excited about. And this football season and this rivalry between Utah and BYU will be something to celebrate, something to watch. Must-see TV for sure.
Okay, well, let's talk about the upcoming season. Who are a few players that Utah fans should look forward to this year?
The thing that's funny is there's a lot of question marks defensively for Utah. That's not the case normally. Like every year, it's like they reload, they restock, but there's a lot of the secondary is going to be 3 of the 4 guys are going to be new. The defensive line, similar type of thing. But really, where this team could just be electric, and I'm talking on a national stage. Of course, Devin Dampier is returning at quarterback. Bert Ficklin is also returning at quarterback. And, of course, the old adage, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. It really, with Utah, you have 2 quarterbacks. You might have 3 or 4 because these guys are so multidimensional and they can do so many things. You can put both of them in the game at the same time and have a lot of offensive production. But you've also got Wayshawn Parker, who was great at running back last year. You've got Hunter Andrews, who was a tremendous find and talent. You've got some new receivers, some old receivers, and this is a very explosive team for Utah offensively. The skill positions, which is something you never really say at Utah. It's like the offensive, defensive line are really good, but this year it's really those guys. And Jackson Benny really emerged last year on defense as a special player. He just found a way to get around the football, and it just had a nose for it. And he'll be so much better this year because of the experience he had last year. Mm-hmm. And of course, Jonah Hall is the guy who kind of made a transition from safety to linebacker. He's another guy that I think you're going to see a lot of. And one guy that I just want to mention is Nate Ritchie, who's been in the program for a long time. Went on an LDS mission, was electric before he went on his mission. Kind of struggled and has struggled a little bit, but seems to be rounding the corner. He's a tremendous human being and a great leader on that team, and look for him to make an impact on that defense this year as well.
We only have about a minute left, Scott. So earlier this week, I talked with Matt Baimonte of BYU Athletics, and I did ask him how he thought the Utes were looking. So I got to ask you, how do you think the Cougars are looking this year?
Hey, Kalani's got it going on in Provo. I mean, they're real, they're legitimate. The loss of Jay Hill as a defensive coordinator, that'll be interesting to see how that returns. But Bear Bachmeier, it's hard for me to talk about it because he wears, I think, 47 as a quarterback. It's really weird to me, and the optics of it are hard for me to get over. But that guy delivered. I mean, he was tremendous last year. He was tough running the football. He was tough throwing the football. Nothing seemed to rattle him, and he was a freshman. Uh-huh. And you got to expect him to be better. Whenever you have a quarterback on your team, especially in college football, you have a chance. These quarterbacks today are just so dynamic, and he's certainly one of them.
Okay.
But he also has a great running back in L.J. Martin. But the belief, Kalani, they kind of bought into Kalani.
Yeah.
They paid him. They've just really made a commitment to their football program down there. And again, they're going to be a tough out. This conference, I think, will
Okay.
be the toughest it's been.
We got to get going, Scott.
Since Utah's been there.
I'm so sorry. We're running out of time. We could chat all day. Thank you
worries.
so much. We appreciate it.